This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the US. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Welcome to the Well Seasoned Librarian Podcast presents Season 16, Episode 2, featuring an interview with the accomplished Ellen Canner, author of the award-winning Feeding the Hungry Ghost, Life, Faith, and What to Eat for Dinner, and the driving force behind Soulful Vegan. Calm, Canner is a prominent voice in the plant-based world. Her writing on food, culture, wellness, and sustainability appears in publications like HuffPo and VegNews, and she connects with readers through her Substack, Broccoli Rising. Host Dean Jones now turns the conversation to Canner's new book, Miami Vegan, from this fifth-generation Miami native.
Welcome to the podcast. Today, I'm speaking with author Ellen Canner for her book, Feast on Miami Vegan. Ellen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I am delighted to be here.
I want to ask you right off the bat, what inspired you to focus specifically on Miami's Latin and Caribbean flavors within the plant-based culinary world?
Oh, great question. Twofold. I want Miami Vegan to convince skeptics, and I know you're out there, that vegan food is friggin' delicious. It's not bland. It won't leave you hungry. And to your point about plant-based, a good number of traditional Latin and Caribbean dishes call for fish or meat, but these are dishes that bring families together. They're what's served at parties and gatherings, because, food is more than dinner. It's community, it's identity, it's culture. I want to honor that. And as some of my friends here have gone vegan, it set up struggles within their families. Their families push back. What do you mean you won't eat arroz con pollo? So I wanted to give traditional recipes a plant-based spin so everyone can enjoy them. Everyone gets a seat at the table.
Now, as a Miami native, how has your own personal experience with the city's diverse food scene influenced the recipes in your book, Miami Vegan?
It can't help but. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in where we are. I have to knock out a project. I've got to walk the dog. Something comes up. But wow, sometimes I remind myself, wow, look at where I get to live, where there's palm trees almost everywhere and ripe mangoes, fresh and free right off the tree.
Nice.
I call my book Miami Vegan, but Miami cuisine isn't monolithic. There are so many delicious cultures and communities that play a part. All those influences naturally wind up on the plate, so they're naturally part of Miami Vegan too.
I want to mention briefly your previous book, Feeding the Hungry Ghost. How does Miami Vegan build on this book, or how does it differ from your book in as far as its culinary philosophy?
I may always bring together place and culture and food. Miami Vegan is very targeted that way. Feeding the Hungry Ghost is still a book I love, and I hear the same thing from readers, but it was more of a mix. It has a lot of narrative because I think storytelling nourishes just as much as recipes. With Miami Vegan, I wanted mostly to deliver a traditional cookbook, head note, ingredients, instruction. But I can't seem to help myself. I keep adding stuff into the backstory because the history, the context of a dish makes it more delicious to me.
I love that. Your book highlights the bold Latin and Caribbean flavors. So as the book includes both vegan spins on classics like key lime pie and potentially new plant-based interpretations of Miami flavors like the fish-free ceviche, can you discuss your approach to adapting traditional dishes and either the trials of that or the ease of that, if that's applicable?
My goal has always been to keep the flavor and mouthfeel of the original recipe. You know, we talk so often about flavor. I think the way a dish tastes in the mouth, is it chewy, is it crunchy, is it creamy? That matters too. And I wanted to keep the heart of what some of these dishes are. They're iconic, they're beloved, but make them plant-based. Fruits and vegetables, whole grains and beans and spices and herbs give you the pow without the processing, so to speak.
Now, the book emphasizes the accessibility of the recipes and techniques. You wanted to make it so people could do it without a lot of trouble. What were your guiding principles in ensuring the recipes were approachable for home cooks of various skill levels?
I myself don't like fussy, so it had to work for that for me. And food shows have made it seem like making dinner is something totally rarefied and unattainable, that you have to be a pro. No, you don't. I want to empower people in the kitchen and show them, yes, you can do this and it's going to be delicious. I have several recipe testers with different degrees of ease in the kitchen, and none of them were vegan. And it was important for me to make the recipes doable for them with basic ingredients you can get at most grocery stores. So they're accessible pretty much anywhere you live. No fresh mango, frozen is okay.
You have a lot of really great recipes in here. Can we talk about these a little bit? I had some that I thought were spectacular, like the flaky guava cream cheese pastry. Can we talk about some of the recipes and the innovations you used? And also, do you have any favorites just personally?
Okay. The first recipe that went into this cookbook is probably my favorite, and I've been making it for years. Caribbean pigeon peas and rice. There are many, by far, like the key lime pie and the guava cream cheese are the recipes that I think are going to appeal to most people. But rice and beans are my love language. So that was pretty easy. That was something I'd been making for years. The other two, the desserts, they needed to be worked at. But for the guava cream cheese pastry, that totally is credit to commercially vegan products that were not available a few years ago. Same ingredients as a traditional recipe, puff pastry, cream cheese, and guava paste, but now there is vegan puff pastry. Now there is vegan cream cheese that actually works in a recipe. Hallelujah.
Now, how do you see Miami's vegan food scene evolving? And what role do you think your book, Miami Vegan, will play in that evolution?
Wow. A few years ago, if you told me that a very French patisserie and a really luscious dim sum place would be serving totally vegan food in Miami, I would have been very excited, but I would not have believed you. And it's happening now. I love that. But I may always be drawn to the connection between food and community and place. So I hope Miami Vegan can offer a taste of that to people.
What was your most rewarding aspect personally about writing this book?
As I said, Miami Vegan recipe testers aren't vegan. And I think that'll be true for most people who get the book, which is fine because I want to invite you in. But several of my recipe testers have said that some of the recipes in the book have become family favorites, and they're part of regular meal rotation now. That's a win to me.
Do you have any advice for individuals looking to incorporate more plant-based meals into their diets? You know, I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I find that increasingly I'm eating more vegetarian or vegan meals because I'm just trying to get more healthy or I'm just trying to have meatless days for the environment. There's different reasons, but like I think a lot of people are on the same page. We are looking, I think all of us, even if we're not vegans or vegetarians, we're looking to adapt more of these recipes into our diet or cooking methods just so we can eat more vegetarian and vegan meals. What's your advice to people that are kind of like us that are on the fence?
Every positive action you take makes it easier. I'm a big believer in the rule of one. So one more meatless meal a week, one more vegetable at the farmer's market. I love how these little connections make a difference. And often what you love isn't the animal in a dish, it's the flavor and the mouthfeel. Give
Yeah.
plants a chance. They're gonna sing for you. You won't be disappointed.
Excellent. Are there any future projects? I mean, I know that you're just getting this book out, so it's probably an unfair question, but do you have any future projects or culinary explorations that you're working on?
As you mentioned, I'm just getting Miami Vegan out into the world, and I'm excited for that. Writing a cookbook takes a lot of time alone in the kitchen and at the keyboard. It's recipe development, it's research. This is the fun part. I'll be getting out and teaching workshops and classes, and not just in Miami and South Florida, a lot of different places, and it lets me taste different regional cuisines. I like to taste different flavors. I like to taste the flavors of the world. Food is the best travel souvenir there is. And on the other hand, something I need to brace myself for, I am stepping out of my comfort zone and doing more video because visual storytelling really matters to people.
Nice.
I want to meet
like that.
people where they are.
I love that. Ellen, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. I've loved getting to talk to you about your new book, Feast on Miami Vegan. We'll have links for Ellen and her book on the bio that you're listening to. Ellen, thank you for being on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that brings our insightful conversation with the wonderful Ellen Canner to a close. We hope you enjoyed hearing about her journey, her inspiring work with soulfellvegan.com, and her delicious new book, Miami Vegan. A big thank you to Ellen for sharing her time and wisdom with us. Make sure to check out her award-winning book, Feeding the Hungry Ghost, Life, Faith, and What to Eat for Dinner, and subscribe to her Substack, Broccoli Rising, for more of her engaging perspectives. You can find links to all of these in our show notes. Thank you for tuning in to the Well Seasoned Librarian Podcast. Until next time, we will see you in the library.